Hi, everyone. You don't get, I don't know her, out of nowhere. This synastry is fascinating because whatever this is between them, it doesn't start loud. It starts quiet and controlled. JLo Saturn conjuncts Mariah Carey's Zavist asteroid. Zavist is that under the surface jealousy no one says out loud, and Saturn doesn't let it pass. It locks it in. So now every time JLo shows up, there's this unspoken comparison in the air, like someone's being measured without ever having to agree to it. And Mariah doesn't step into that. She doesn't engage in it. She just ices it out completely. So this never turns into some big dramatic blowout. It just lingers. In interviews, in tone, in that subtle edge where you can feel something's there, even if nobody's saying it directly. It's like JLo's presence locks that comparison into Mariah's world, and instead of exploding, it hardens quietly. And it stays there. Mariah's Bellona asteroid is sitting right on JLo's Venus. And Bellona isn't loud chaos. She is strategic. It's feminine warfare. And it's landing right on Jennifer's Venus. Her charm, her desirability, that effortless pull that she has. So something about her presence immediately registers as a battlefield. And Venus feels that because Venus expects warmth. It expects to be received. And instead, Venus meets something that's controlled, intentional, and not open. So it turns into that polished, icy edge where everything looks composed on the surface, but underneath there's competition and there's territory involved. And it's personal whether either one of them says it or not. You don't hear it. You can feel the tension. And it actually brings pain to Mariah because JLo's Chiron is sitting right on her sun. That's her presence pressing directly on Mariah's identity, her pride, the part of her that says, this is who I am. So it's not about anything that Jennifer is doing. It's the fact that she exists in a way that gets underneath Mariah's skin. So when that energy shows up, Mariah doesn't take it in. She just shuts it down. And then it gets really interesting because Mariah's Pluto and Delilah asteroid are conjuncting Jennifer's south node. So this doesn't feel new between them. It feels old. Like something about Mariah's energy hits Jennifer in a place that already comes with history. And Delilah, that asteroid, that's not innocent energy. It's calculated. It knows exactly where the power is and how to take it out without ever making it obvious. It's the same energy that cut Samson's strength without a fight. So when Mariah comes into Jennifer's space, it doesn't land neutral. It lands with distrust already there. Like, I don't fully trust this, and I'm not going to. And with Pluto sitting there, it goes deeper than surface tension. This is power, control, and something unspoken running underneath the interaction. Nothing has to happen. The energy is already loaded. Mariah's Mercury, Talos, and Clytemnestra are right on JLo's north node. This is where the voice becomes the weapon and the destiny and the theme of the relationship. Because Mercury is her voice, but Talos is not just guarded energy. Talos is a bronze sentinel. He did not negotiate. He enforced and kept people out, period. So when Mariah speaks about Jennifer Lopez, it's not neutral. It's controlled access. It's you don't get in. And then Clytemnestra, this is where it turns. She wasn't just a woman who remembered she was a queen who waited to strike. Vengeance sat in her bones until it became action. So now, Mariah's voice isn't just selective, it's loaded. This is her voice acting like a gatekeeper and a queen, deciding what gets said and what gets through and what gets shut down. That "I don't know her" comment, that's not off the cuff. That's Clytemnestra speaking through Mercury, with Talos guarding the gate. And because this lands on JLo's North Node, it doesn't stay private. It becomes part of her storyline. Mariah doesn't just comment on her, she becomes a chapter in how the world sees her. That's why it lingers. That's why it feels cold and deliberate, final. And this is where it turns psychological, because JLo's Pluto is directly opposing Mariah's Mercury in Pisces. Mariah's Mercury doesn't communicate in a clean, literal way. It moves through tone, through implication, through what's left unsaid. So her voice already lives in that space where meaning isn't just fully spelled out, it's felt. So when JLo's Pluto hits Mariah's Mercury like this, there's this constant pressure on whatever Mariah says, like it's going to be looked at more closely than she ever intended. And instead of opening her up, it does the opposite. It makes her more controlled, more deliberate, and aware that every word can be taken apart and dissected. So she doesn't ramble. She doesn't over-explain. She doesn't give anything that can be used against her. And this is where the dynamic itself starts to feel final, because JLo has both Lie and Requiem asteroids right on Mariah Carey's descendant. The descendant is the relationship axis. It's how you meet the other person, how you experience them directly, face to face. So when someone's Lie lands there, the interaction doesn't feel clear. It feels distorted, like what you're seeing and what's actually there don't match. Now, layer Requiem on the top of that. Requiem doesn't keep things alive. It closes them. It marks an ending, a final note. Requiem is funeral for the dead. So now the relationship field itself carries that tone, distortion, and finality, which means when Mariah meets this energy, she's experiencing something that already feels over. And when something feels finished, the moment you touch it, you don't try to build with it. You step back. Because on some level, it already carries its own ending. And this is where the energy turns foggy and hard to trust, because JLo's Neptune is right on top of Mariah's Medea, Lie, and Requiem. Neptune doesn't show things clearly. It blurs the edges, so you're not fully sure what you're looking at. So when it hits something like Lie, it doesn't just suggest dishonesty. It creates an atmosphere where the truth itself feels out of reach. And with Medea there, that fog is not harmless. Medea carries betrayal and revenge. So now Neptune is wrapping that in mist. It's something you feel more than something that you can prove. And then Requiem underneath it, that adds a sense of finality. Like whatever this dynamic is, it already carries an ending, but you can't clearly see how it got there. So from Mariah's side, this doesn't feel like a clean interaction. It feels like something she can't fully trust or pin down. And when you can't see something clearly, you don't move toward it. Because the more you try to understand it, the more it slips out of focus. Now this aspect is not soft. not soft energy. This is lightning hitting something ancient. JLo's Uranus and Jupiter are on Mariah's South Node. It feels like she walks into Mariah's past life story and flips the table. Jupiter makes everything bigger, louder, impossible to ignore. And Uranus? Uranus doesn't ask for permission. It breaks patterns, snaps cords, shatters what's been running on autopilot for lifetimes. So when that combination hits the South Node, it's like hitting a pressure point in the soul. This is not, we're building something new together. This is, I just activated something you thought was already buried. Mariah's South Node holds her default settings, her old scripts, her instinctive patterns, the things that she falls back into without thinking. And JLo comes in like a surge of electricity and expansion all at once. It's not gentle. It's not gradual. It's abrupt recognition. Like, why does this feel familiar and uncomfortable at the same time? Because Uranus doesn't let the past stay comfortable, and Jupiter won't let it stay small or insignificant. There's a restless, unstable current running through this relationship or interaction. And the thing about South Node contacts like this, they don't feel random. They feel fated, but not in a peaceful way. More like a glitch in the matrix. Like someone walked into your storyline and hit a switch you didn't even know was still wired. And once that's triggered, it stays active. It doesn't just disappear. It lingers. It hums in the background, like a wire that's been exposed, still live, still carrying the current. So, if you enjoyed the synastry, subscribe. I'll be back soon.